Morning. Welcome to First Parish Unitarian Universalist of Medfield. Warm welcome to any visitors we have this morning, and we hope you'll stay following the service for social hour downstairs. And of course, welcome to all of you who are streaming in from home. This congregation first gathered in 1651, settling on this land that was and is still now the homeland of the Nipmuc Nation, who inhabited this area for thousands of years. Their land was taken by force, and their lives were oppressed by the European colonists who settled this town, this state, this nation. However, despite this, the Nipmuc descendants continue to live here today. As Unitarian Universalists, we are called to name the wrongs committed against Indigenous people and to work to dismantle the systems of oppression that continue to harm Indigenous people today. Holding all of this in our hearts, we welcome you to this place. Here we search for truth and understanding. Here we celebrate life and we contemplate its mysteries. Here we share healing and wholeness. So whoever you are, whatever you believe, whomever you love, we welcome you to this congregation. Welcome all you who are in need of healing. Welcome with your problems and your pain. Welcome to your joys and your wonderings. Welcome your need to hope, your longing for assurance. Instead of answers, here may you find safety for your questions. Instead of promises, may you find community for your struggles. People with hands and hearts to join you in engaging the challenges of our day. Friends, come, let us worship together.
Today's chalice lighting is by Nadine McSpadden. Still there is hope. During our darkest moments, still there is hope. When facing our biggest challenges, still there is hope. When all we can do is put one foot in front of the other, still there is hope. When we can't find the way out, still there is hope. When all we can do to help is hold someone's hand as they cry, still there is hope. We are the hope for ourselves and for one another. Always there is hope.
Please rise in body or in spirit. We will be reciting together our unison covenant. Today we'll be reading lines 1, 2, and 6. Love is the foundation and spirit of our congregation, and we declare that every person is inherently worthy and has the right to flourish with dignity. As people of goodwill, we covenant with one another to share our joys and sorrows and care for one another in a connected and nurturing congregation. Please remain standing for our opening hymn. It's number 1053 in your teal hymnal, How Could Anyone? You may be seated. Now I'd invite forward Sarah Drum to share with us a reflection.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. We come together as a community, a circle of connection, remembrance, and support. Today, we hold space for many things, for grief and for healing, for remembrance and for hope. We gather to honour those we have lost to suicide, their lives, their stories, and their love, and the love that remains. We stand beside the families, friends, and loved ones whose lives have been forever changed by that loss. And we extend our hands and our hearts to those among us who are living with depression, who struggle in silence or in strength each day. This is not an easy conversation, but it is a necessary one. By being here, by showing up, we break through the silence. We remind each other that no one walks this path alone. Let this space be one of compassion, courage, and connection. May we listen with open hearts, speak with honesty, and hold each other with gentleness. Together we honour, together we remember, together we keep going. So I want to talk a little bit about the Medfield Coalition for Suicide Prevention, which I've been involved in since its inception back in 2017. So Medfield CSP was founded in September 2017. It's composed of community members, professionals who desire to promote mental health. The coalition recognises that suicide has affected Medfield and surrounding communities, and by coming together, an initiative was formed that raises awareness and has the potential to save lives. The Medfield Coalition for Suicide Prevention's mission is to promote mental health and emotional well-being of all community members, to raise awareness, reduce stigma, and educate our community to help end suicide. The Coalition's vision is to build a community where suicide, self-harm, and stigma have been replaced by hope, self-care, and acceptance. The Coalition has focused much of its efforts on programming in May for Mental Health Awareness Month and right now in September for Suicide Awareness Month. The Coalition has also secured funding for the Interface Referral Service for the past 3 years, allowing Medfield residents to access mental health care. We welcome you to join us in these efforts. And we have a table downstairs in the vestry for after the service, so I look forward to seeing you all there.
Thank you, Sarah. Now I'd invite forward Margaret Rolfe to share with us a poem.
We Remember Them by Sylvan Kamens and Rabbi Jack Reamer. At the rising sun and at its going down, we remember them. At the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them. At the opening of the buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them. At the blueness of the skies and the warmth of summer, we remember them. At the rustling of the leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them. At the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. As long as we live, they too will live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have decisions that are difficult to make, we remember them. When we have joy we crave to share, we remember them. When we have achievements that are based on theirs, we remember them. For as long as we live, they too will live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them.
Thank you, Margaret. Now I'd invite forward Kali Geddes from Samaritans to share a reflection.
Thank you all so much for inviting me to be here and to be part of your community today, and to share with you a bit about the incredible work that Samaritans does through the community and the Commonwealth to break down the stigma attached to suicide. As shared, my name is Kali Geddes, and I'm a social worker by training, but I've spent the last 20 years working in education, advocacy, and grief support. And in all of those spaces, the impact of suicide has been present. I joined Samaritans 3 years ago as a community trainer, facilitating workshops to help people of all ages become more comfortable with talking about suicide. Often the suicide prevention is as simple as being the person who takes the extra minute to check in, the one who says, "Are you really okay?" I also have the privilege of facilitating the survivors of suicide attempt support groups at Samaritans and working with the staff supporting callers every day on the helpline. It's all been incredible work. So who are Samaritans? Samaritans is a nonprofit organization deeply committed to suicide prevention, suicide awareness, and supporting those impacted by suicide. Before I get started on the reflection, I want to recognize that we all come to this room with our own experiences of suicide. Some of us have lost loved ones to suicide. Some of us have supported somebody going through a dark time. And some of us may have struggled with thoughts ourselves. I would like to take a moment and invite us all to place a hand over our heart. Look at our neighbors and take a grounding breath together as we honor all of the experiences that bring us into this community. Thank you. While suicide is a very heavy topic, I see the conversation and spaces like this as spaces of hope, because stigma and shame live in silence and darkness. And just by inviting me here and joining in this conversation, you are opening the door to light, connection, and hope. As I share now and we talk more in the coming hours, I hope that you will learn something new and leave today with a deeper understanding around the impacts of suicide, the powerful ability we all play in the role we have to prevent suicide, and maybe some new knowledge about the services available to those at risk, those who have lost loved ones, and those who have survived attempts themselves. And maybe you'll feel a little bit of that hope that we've been talking about up here. I hope that you'll be inspired to share the information with somebody who needs it, or lean into it yourself on a hard day. At Samaritans, our mission is simple but urgent: to prevent suicide and offer hope and support to those affected. We do this in several ways. First, our work that is most widely known is our 24-hour helpline, which is now part of the 988 network. The helpline connects callers with a live person 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. The helpline is free, confidential, and available to anyone who is feeling overwhelmed, in emotional distress, or experiencing suicidal thoughts. I always think it's important to highlight that somebody does not have to be suicidal to call the helpline. Sometimes we all need a space that is non-judgmental and not connected to somebody who we feel responsible to just speak openly. Sometimes simply saying something out loud can be incredibly powerful when someone is really listening. For those of you who have young people in your life, we have Hey Sam, a text support line, which is a peer text line for people 16 to 25 years old. We recognize that young people today face challenges that are unique, and often they're not comfortable talking with people they don't think can identify with them. Hey Sam is staffed by 16 to 25-year-old volunteers with the support of Samaritan staff in order to increase the comfort that young people need to feel connection. We know young people are most likely to reach out if they believe that they will be talking to somebody close to their age who can understand and navigate anxiety, depression, academics, stresses, identity issues, and social isolation in ways that they may identify with. By offering support through text, we are meeting young people where they're at in ways that feel safe, natural, and familiar to them. It removes barriers and opens doors for meaningful connection. Next to our grief support services team, we offer a variety of resources to those who have lost loved ones to suicide. This includes peer-led support groups, one-to-one connection, and resources to help survivors process the loss and begin healing. Whether the loss is recent or many years ago, we want every survivor to know that they're not alone. Connecting with others who truly understand the pain that they're going through can be incredibly powerful and part of healing. As I mentioned earlier, we offer survivors of suicide attempt support groups, or SOSA, for those who have survived a suicide attempt. Through starting this program, we've learned that there are staggeringly few resources for people who have survived an attempt of suicide, despite being a population that is 37% more likely to attempt again. SOSA support groups invite individuals to process their experiences, to share their stories, and begin to rebuild hope. There's no pressure, no shame, no stigma, just a community of people who understand and who care. SOSA works to remind participants their life matters, their story matters, and healing is possible. These aren't therapy groups, but support communities built on connection, understanding, and resilience. This year, we launched the new initiative of the LOST team, which stands for Local Outreach to Suicide Survivors. The LOST team is made up of trained volunteers, many of whom have lost someone to suicide themselves, who are dispatched directly to the scene of a suicide in collaboration with first responders to support grieving loved ones in those first devastating hours. They offer compassionate presence, emotional support, and immediate connection to longer-term resources. It's a powerful reminder that lived experience can become a lifeline to others, and that no one should face those moments alone. Finally, our community education and outreach team works to educate and decrease stigma in every space that will have us. This team provides workshops in schools, businesses, community spaces, and anywhere else looking to become more comfortable with recognizing warning signs and having meaningful conversations that can feel very intimidating and nerve-wracking. Every single service that Samaritans provides, whether it's a late-night phone call, a peer text message, a grief group, or an on-scene visit, is rooted in the belief that every life matters, every conversation matters, and no one should have to suffer alone. When we leave here today, please spread the word, start conversations, check in with somebody. Together, we can break silence around suicide. We can build a community rooted in compassion, connection, and hope. And I'm so grateful to be a part of starting that conversation here.
Thank you. Now I'd invite forward our First Parish Choir.
If you get too worried, if you get worried, what you ought to do is sing. If you get worried, what you ought to do is sing. Sing about your troubles, it just might pass. And if you get lost, what you ought to do is sing. If you get lost, what you ought to do is sing. If you get lost, what you ought to do is sing. Sing about your troubles, it just might pass. Sing about your troubles, it just might pass. Sing about joy. Sing about love and hope and last. Sing about your troubles. It just might pass. It just might pass. And if you get discouraged, what you ought to do is sing. If you get discouraged, what you ought to do is sing. If you get discouraged, what you ought to do is sing. Sing about your troubles, it just might pass. Sing about your troubles, it just might pass. Sing about joy. Sing about love and hope and last. Sing about your troubles. It just might pass. It just might pass. And if you get broken, what you ought to do is sing. If you get broken, what you ought to do is sing. If you get broken, what you ought to do is sing. Sing about your troubles, it just might pass. Sing about your troubles, it just might pass. Just sing about your troubles. Oh, it just might pass. Trouble just might pass.
Friends, this morning we gather in the spirit of love, compassion, and shared humanity to talk about a very difficult topic, a topic that we might feel very uncomfortable speaking about. Suicide is a difficult subject, and yet it is one of the things that is urgent for us to address, for it touches lives and in ways that we cannot often see nor fully understand until we're faced with it ourselves or with those that we love. Suicide is a tragedy, not just because of the lives it claims, but because of the profound sense of isolation and hopelessness that often precedes it. For those who struggle, the pain can feel unbearable, and the way forward can appear dark and uncertain. Yet, as we know, no matter how deep the shadows may be, there's always the potential for light, always the possibility of hope, always the possibility for healing. As Unitarian Universalists, we draw strength from the belief that every person is worthy of love, dignity, and respect, and that our interconnectedness is a central part of what makes us human. Our values encourage us to support one another, to offer compassion and understanding, and to build a world where no one has to walk through their darkest moments alone. In this spirit, it is crucial for us to address suicide awareness, not only as a matter of preventing loss, but as a commitment to creating a community where mental health is understood and treated with the same seriousness and compassion as physical health. We begin by acknowledging that mental health struggles are real and can be life-threatening. For too long, mental illness has been shrouded in stigma, silencing those who need the support the most. But silence does not heal. Silence can only isolate. And so as a community, we must speak up. We must listen without judgment to the cries for help that sometimes come in the form of words, sometimes in the form of silence. We must ask questions when we sense that something is wrong. We must be ready to offer our hands to those we love. Our first step in building awareness is to recognize that suicide is not a moral failure, but a symptom of profound suffering. The myth that those who die by suicide are simply selfish or that they should have known better, it only deepens the shame and isolation that many people already feel. The truth is, mental illness can warp our perception of the world, leading us to believe that things will never get better, that we are unworthy of help, or that the pain we carry is just too much to bear. But these thoughts are not the truth. They are the product of a disease that distorts our view of reality. Let us take this moment to remember that each person who suffers is a beloved child of the universe, as deserving of compassion and care as anyone. And if we or someone we know is struggling, it's not a sign of weakness, but of being human. The second step is education. We must learn to recognize the signs of someone in crisis. Often those who contemplate suicide may withdraw from others. They may suddenly increase in irritability. They may express feelings of worthlessness or even speak about death or dying. But there are more subtle signs. Sometimes people may seem calm or unusually happy after a period of depression. This can be a sign that they have made the decision to end their life and they feel at peace with it. If we recognize these signs, we might not hesitate to reach out, to offer support, and guide them toward professional help. But beyond the signs, we must also create a culture of openness where talking about mental health is as normal as talking about physical health. We must embrace the fact that it is okay to not be okay, and that seeking help is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength. Finally, we must remember the power of presence. Sometimes it's not about having the perfect words or solutions. It's about showing up. It's about offering support and letting someone know that they are not alone. In times of crisis, even the smallest act of kindness, a phone call, a text, simple gesture of care, can make the world of difference. It is in those moments that we show the power of community. So friends, let us commit ourselves to the work of awareness, support, and healing. Let us be the kind of people who are unafraid to speak openly about mental illness, who stand with those who suffer, who never let anyone feel that they are beyond help or hope. Together, we can help create a world where no one feels that their pain is too great to carry, and where every person knows that they matter. May we walk in love. May we always be the light that others need when the darkness seems overwhelming. Amen. Let's hold all this in our hearts for a time of silent meditation. Spirit of light, Spirit of love, help us to feel your presence in our darkest of times. Help us to remember that we are never alone. Help us to remember that we are worthy of love and care. Help us to remember that we are beloved. So may it be. I would invite forward Mary Corthell to introduce the morning's offering.
Good morning. Offering is like one of my favorite words. If you ever come to my house, in my bathroom, you're allowed to write on my wall any of your favorite words. Offering is one of them because it contains, for me, almost like a space of intentionality. And this morning, that song, honestly, I will take that song with me into my week. So into the offering this morning is that song. It's also the light outside. And this offering is for the care of this community and this sanctuary and the running of what we do here. And there's no other way to do this by collecting this financial gift towards the church. We're also sharing it this morning with the Medfield Coalition for Suicide Awareness. And I want to thank Sarah and the woman from the Samaritans for speaking to us this morning about that. So as we go around this morning, if you are able to put something in, we will be splitting it with the Medfield organization. And thank you so much.
Please rise in body or in spirit for our closing hymn. It's number 1031 in your teal hymnal, Filled with Loving Kindness.
May I be filled with loving kindness.
we prepare to leave this sacred space, let us remember that within each of our hearts there is a most glorious light. Go forth and let its spark help you to understand what troubles both you and others. Go forth and let its light of reason be a guide. Go forth and bring its rays of hope to those in need of help in both mind and body, and may they find healing. Go forth and spread the warm glow of love, pushing back the darkness of the world. Go forth and share your glorious light with this world. I'll now extinguish our chalice. May its light and warmth stay with us until we meet again. Here ends our worship. Let our service begin.